Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a Mandalorian statue wielding the Darksaber. Here are all of the materials that we will need to make the build. Begin by placing a row of 8 black terracotta in a row on the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then, starting from the left side on top of this row, place a brown terracotta, followed by 2 brown concrete, 1, 2, 2 brown terracotta, 2 brown concrete, and then a brown terracotta. We then want to repeat this row one more time. We then want to place an entire row of grey terracotta on top of that row. Then on the left side here, we want to place a light grey concrete, brown terracotta, light grey concrete, 2 brown terracotta, and then 3 light grey concrete, 1, 2, 3. Now, we want to extend the center of this row of 3 upwards by 3 using cyan terracotta, 1, 2, 3, and then surround it using light grey concrete, like this. Now on the left side here, we want to place black terracottas on top of these light greys, then light grey on top of the black terracottas. We then want to fill in between these using brown terracotta, building up as high as the 2 light greys that we placed. Then we want to, on the left side of this row, place 2 brown concrete, extend that up 1 row, and then on the right side of this, place cyan terracotta, and also on top as well. So effectively, you're just covering up the brown concrete. We then want to fill the rest of these rows in using brown terracotta, like this, filling all the way up to the top like so. And then we want to, for the next row, coming back to the left to right method, we want to place a light blue terracotta, 2 brown terracotta, 1, 2, 2 cyan terracotta, 1, 2, 2 brown, 1, 2, and then a light blue terracotta. So on the left side here, for the next row, we want to place a light grey concrete, and then a brown terracotta, light grey, 3 cyan terracotta, 1, 2, 3, and then a brown terracotta, and then a light blue terracotta, like so. Then, for the next row, we want to place 3 black terracotta, 1, 2, 3, 2 light grey, and then 3 black terracotta, like this. Then, for the next row, left to right, we want to place a light grey, brown terracotta, light grey, 3 cyan terracotta, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 brown terracotta. Then, for the next row, we want to place 2 brown terracotta, 1 brown concrete, and then 3 light grey concrete, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 brown terracotta. We then, for the next row, want to place 2 brown terracotta, 2 brown concrete, 2 grey concrete, and then 2 brown terracotta. For the next row, we want to place 2 brown terracotta, 1 light grey, 1 brown concrete, 1 grey concrete, and then 1 light grey concrete, and then 2 brown terracotta. For the next row, we want to place 2 brown terracotta, 1 light grey concrete, 2 brown concrete, 1 light grey, and then 2 brown terracotta. For the next row, a brown terracotta, 3 grey concrete, 1, 2, 3, and then a brown concrete, 2 grey, 1 brown terracotta. For the next row, a brown terracotta, grey concrete, 2 light grey, 2 brown concrete, then a grey concrete, and then a brown terracotta. For the next row, a brown terracotta, a grey concrete, 3 light grey, 1, 2, 3, and then a brown concrete, and then a grey concrete, and then a brown terracotta. Then for the next row, a brown terracotta, and then 4 light grey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 brown concrete, and then a brown terracotta. Then, for the next row, we want to place a brown terracotta, followed by 5 light grey concrete, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a brown concrete, and then a brown terracotta. Last but not least, we want to place a row of 6 brown terracotta, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, followed by a brown concrete, and then finally a brown terracotta. So this is the leg and body section, pretty much complete for the front of the statue at least. Next, we are going to work on the helmet. So on top of this row, going from left to right, we want to place 2 grey concrete, 1 light grey, and then we actually need to grab black concrete and place 2 of those, followed by a light grey, and then 2 grey concrete. We want to extend the grey concretes forwards by 2 rows, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, just like this. Now the black concrete we are going to extend forwards just 1 row like this. So on top of this outward row of grey concrete here, we want to extend up the grey concretes, every single one of them, up an additional row like so. And then from left to right, we want to place a grey concrete, 2 light grey, leave the gap of 2 here, 2 light grey, 1 grey concrete. We then want to place a row of light grey concrete all the way across the top of both of these rows, once again, leaving the gap. However, we can now build up the black concrete like this, up and in between the 2 rows that we have, and then extend it left and right so that we end up with this T shape. We then want to place a row of light grey concrete on top of the T, extend forwards, and then up by an additional 2 rows left to right. So we'll have something which should look like this. So when it comes to the rest of the helmet, we are just going to extend these grey concretes backwards that we have on the left and right, just like this, right? Then we want to take the bottom of the helmet and we are just going to extend it backwards by 5 rows using light grey concrete. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we can just extend the entire bottom of the helmet backwards like this. And ultimately what we will do, because we want to have a row of 8 in total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's perfect, extend these up, join forwards and across, and essentially just turn this into a nice big cube. Well, you know, sort of cube. And we then want to fill the remaining sides of the helmet in, left, right, back and top, in using light grey concrete. And there we have it. That is absolutely perfect. And with this complete, we can work on the rest of the statue. And to do that, we are going to come all the way to the bottom back of the statue and extend the bottom of the feet outwards by 3 rows using black terracotta. 1, 2, 3, and on this side, 1, 2, 3. We don't have to fill the inner rows in, but we then connect them together at the back like this. We then want to grab brown terracotta and place a row of 5 extending up from each corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like so. We then want to place 2 rows of brown terracotta in the center of these rows. 1, 2. So literally a 2x2 square right in the center. Then we want to place grey terracotta on top of this square, and then another 2x2 square of brown terracotta. Extend the grey terracotta left and right to connect to the 2 outward rows, and then fill the middle of this in using brown concrete, just like this. That's perfect. So, the next part of this would be to add continuous rows of brown terracotta up and on top of this. So we have to do this up a certain amount. I don't know how high it is until we make the rest of the statue, but just add a few rows on top. The reason that I want to do that is because we have to make the Mandalorian's cloak. This covers up the majority of the back of the statue. So far, we want to add a row of black terracotta that sits directly above the brown concrete that we have on the back of the statue. This brown terracotta will extend all the way up to the very top of the statue like this and connect to the bottom of the head, and it will basically just cover everything up. So there's not really any need to add any detail back here whatsoever, and the cloak is just made out of black terracotta. But something that I want to do as well, we have to extend the cloak outwards on the left and right sides by an additional 3 rows, and that will go from the top to the bottom. So 1, 2, 3, and then if we just extend this all the way down, and we are going to do literally the exact same thing on the opposite side. So 1, 2, 3, and then extend it all the way up. This way, only extending it out 3 blocks, we will actually get some of the back of the arms as well, which is really good. So now that we have the shape of this, all we have to do is actually just fill this in using the black terracotta from top to bottom, or bottom to top as we're doing it. There we go, just like that. So now that we have this, we have some sort of Mandalorian bat-looking creature. We can now add the arms. So the arms are actually the same but different. So the same because they're the same design, but different because they are positioned differently. So the right arm is, as you might imagine, on the right side of the statue here. And we start all the way up at the top, and from this brown terracotta we extend outwards, and we want to place a grey concrete, 3 light grey concrete like this, extending outwards, and then underneath this we want to place, underneath the grey concrete, 3 grey, 1, 2, 3, extend in 1, and then fill the middle of this in, or the outer rows of this in, using light grey concrete. We then want to add 2 rows of black terracotta underneath this, 1, 2, and then underneath this left side here, we want to add a row of 4 grey concrete, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then fill the rest of these rows in using light grey concrete. And then underneath this, on the left side, we place 2 cyan terracotta with yellow terracotta on the side, and then yellow terracotta underneath all of this, like so. We then want to extend the bottom row of the hand backwards to hit the cloak, and then extend the end block up by 1. We then want to, on top of this yellow terracotta, place 4 light grey concrete, like this, and we then want to place a row of 2 black terracotta on top of the light grey concrete, and then we want to place light grey concrete extending all the way up to the top. We can connect that to the front, and then we can fill the top of the shoulder in, matching the colours of the blocks that we have in front of us. So the side of the shoulder is a little bit different, so we want to extend the light grey concrete forwards and backwards. We want to extend the black terracotta forwards and backwards. The arm actually has a blaster slash the whistling birds launcher, however you would phrase it, but we want to place grey concrete here, just in front of the bottom 2 light grey concrete blocks, and then light grey concrete above this, like so. And then, I know that this seems a little bit random, and I guess it is kind of, but cyan concrete just here underneath the again, the Whistling Birds launcher, whatever you want to call it, really. And there we go. That's looking really good. And by the way, you might think that this statue looks a little bit flat at the moment. We will be sorting that out at the very end. We'll make everything nice and pop and 3D. So all the way down at the bottom of the statue here, we want to place 2 rows of brown concrete extending up from just these 2 center blocks. We then want to place grey terracotta on top of the brown concrete, and then we can make pretty much the rest of the leg grey terracotta, or actually brown terracotta I should say, because that's not grey terracotta. There we go, that's perfect. So the next thing that we are going to do is work on the opposite arm. So this arm is, again, it's actually identical to the opposite arm, except we start this one right here. So it starts from the cloak block. Or, I mean, if you would find it easier, we can start it from the top left-hand corner of the statue here, where we have the brown terracotta. And what we would do is place 2 grey concrete extending outwards to the left, followed by 2 light grey, like this. And then we would take the first grey concrete here and extend this all the way up to the top. And then fill the rest of this area in using light grey, like so. And then we would place 2 rows of black terracotta in front of this, extending forwards. And then this inward row here, we place 4 grey concrete, 1, 2, 3, 4, extending forwards, and light grey concrete along the side of it, like this. Then we want to place a row of, so on the inside here, we want to have 2 cyan terracotta with yellow terracotta on the outside, and then an entire row of yellow terracotta just in front like this. And then from here, we then want to extend the yellow terracotta down by 3 rows, so 1, 2, 3, like this, right? And then on the inside here, we are basically just going to extend the cyan terracotta down here. We want to then, do we extend the grey? No, we will extend, we'll place 2 rows of light grey, and then we'll have a row of grey concrete underneath this. We'll extend the black terracotta down like so. So that is the inside part of the arm. The outer part of the arm, we want to add 2 cyan concretes here, just in the middle of these yellow terracottas extending back, and then a yellow terracotta underneath this. We then want to have, we will have, yeah, it will just be light grey. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of light grey, extending back and extending down like this. And then we want to extend the black terracottas down as well. We then want to extend the light grey concretes down as well, so kind of just matching the blocks that we have above us. And then when it comes to underneath the arm, we will simply just copy what we have above. So we'll have a light grey a yellow terracotta here, cyan terracotta here, fill underneath this in using light grey concrete, connect this together using black terracotta. We will have the same combination of grey concrete as we do above with light grey concrete around it. And then just on the side of the arm here, we want to have, again, kind of the Whistling Birds. So 2 grey concretes here, and then 3 light grey concretes extending back in a rectangular pattern. And that looks really good. So the Mandalorian's ready to shake somebody's hand. Or at least that's what it kind of looks like. So on the left side of the statue here, we want to build up the bottom similarly to the opposite side. There is actually a little bit more going on this side of the statue, but we'll build it the same. So 2 rows of brown concrete, grey terracotta on top, and then we'll build up the rest of the statue using grey terracotta as we get all the way up to the top here, or where we have the black terracotta for the belt. We will extend this around like this, so brown terracotta all the way up to the belt, and then once we hit the belt area, we'll just continue extending on up using the brown terracotta like this. So that is nice and filled in. And once we have hit this point, ladies and gentlemen, we actually do still have a bunch more detail to add, and this is where the Mandalorian is really going to start standing out. So let's start all the way down at the bottom of the statue, because why not? We want the lower half of his boots to extend outwards, so this means the black terracotta on the ground, and then the next 2 rows above, so the rows of brown terracotta and then the brown concrete in between them. So this gives us a nice pointed foot, and it just looks a little bit better this way in my opinion. The Mandalorian has a little bit of leg armor here, so this is light grey concrete that we're going to extend out, and then the cyan terracotta in front, just like this. We then want to extend out these. So this is light grey concrete with black terracotta in front like this. And I think that these are just bullets or cartridges for the actual weapon that isn't the Darksaber, the big giant rifle thing that he carries, so that's what these are. And then on the sides of the statue here, we're actually going to replace this back row of the light grey and the black terracotta. We're going to leave a gap of one, and then we're going to have these cartridges extend around the side here. So we'll leave a gap, and then we'll have another 2 set of cartridges, and it just looks pretty good. I really like the effect of that. It just makes it nice and 3D and cool. We have another set of cartridges up here next to the belt section, so we want to extend these light grey concretes outwards, and then we want to extend the black terracottas as well. And another cool part, we want to extend the chest plate outwards as well, so this actually starts just above this cartridge here. We want to extend all of the brown concrete outwards like this, all the way up to the top, and then we want to extend pretty much the more armor plated blocks, so all of the grey concrete blocks and grey concrete adjacent blocks, all of these want to get extended forwards. And let me just show you, because we also have some more plating and stuff around the belt, but yeah, there we go. Doesn't that look really cool already? And I'd also recommend extending out some of the arm armor as well. So this here, for instance, like the 2 sections of plating that we have here at the top and bottom of the arm, so more so for the shoulder and then kind of like the forearm, that looks really cool. And you don't really have the option to do it on the back, unfortunately. I'd leave it anyway, so you can have that, and then we can do the same thing on the opposite arm as well, just whilst we're up here, so we can extend these blocks forwards. I'd probably only just do it to the upper arm if you were to do it. You don't even need to do it on this arm in particular if you don't want to. It does make him look a little bit chunkier. I think it's probably better reserved for the arm that's down, because there's already enough going on here, but you can extend the shoulder if you like anyway. But yeah, that's looking really cool. And there is a little bit more as well. So the Mandalorian carries a sidearm which is on his hip. So we are going to grab brown concrete, and we want to place a brown concrete. First of all, actually, this is what we're going to do. So where we have this light blue terracotta here, we're going to dig behind this. So up above this, we want to dig up and place an additional light blue terracotta with a grey terracotta on top, and then we are going to replace this light grey concrete here, or actually it's a brown terracotta. Yeah, sorry, the light grey concrete with a brown terracotta. So this is the new appearance, so it just makes this a lot cleaner, and this helps us to place the holster, and we want to am I okay? So we want to place a brown concrete here behind the new cyan terracotta and extend this down 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. Extend left 2 and then up 2. We then want to fill the middle of this in using black terracotta, and then place light grey concrete on top, extend back and then extend forwards like this. And there we go, that just gives the appearance of a holster. And now that we have that complete, probably the moment that you have been waiting for, we can now make the Darksaber. We're going to position this in the outstretched arm, and on top of this inward cyan terracotta here, we want to place a grey concrete, and then behind it a cyan terracotta. On top of the grey concrete, stack another one, but on top of the cyan terracotta, stack a light grey concrete. Extend up, back, but then forwards by 2, 1, 2, and then on the back light grey concrete block, place a polished black stone wall, and then in front of this a tinted glass block, which we then want to extend up by 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then this is a little bit tricky, but 9 glass pane, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, just like that. And then in front of all of this, we want to place a row of black concrete. So this will sit in front of the block and also the pane like so. And then we want to place glass pane in front of the black concrete, extending all the way up to the top. It's going to extend up a couple of rows above the black concrete and then extend it back on itself like so. And that will just kind of like give a pointy appearance. And then if we extend underneath the arm here, so we basically want to place these blocks directly below and through the hand where the blocks above would be. And we want to start off with 2 cyan terracotta, so if you take a look, they track nicely, followed by 2 grey concrete, and then a 2x2 square of black concrete. So that, once it's completed, will give us something that should look exactly like this. And that's it. I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. Please do remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.